Endurance Junkie Podcast, episode 21. Hey Junkie, welcome to another episode of the Endurance Junkie Podcast, the show where I will be interviewing some of the fastest, smartest and most inspiring people active in the endurance world today. Joining me now is champion XTERRA athlete Ben Allen out of Australia. Ben has been an athlete for most of his life, competing in surf lifesaving when growing up, before making the switch to triathlon. He went on to compete at the ITU level and is now specializing in XTERRA racing. I caught up with Ben just before leaving for Maui, where he is due to compete in the XTERRA World Championships later this month. Ben, thanks for taking the time to chat here today. Now, for those of us who don't know you, can you tell us a bit about yourself and your sporting background, growing up as a kid in Australia?
Yeah, well, I got into sport when I was young. I started in surf lifesaving as a young nipper, growing up on the beaches of Australia, and progressed through the ranks and found myself, liking all sports, but focusing on a swimming, open water swimming sort of background, and that led me to further my career in ocean sports. So I was able to represent Australia and went to 3 world titles and won numerous Australian medals. And I'd come to, I suppose, a crossroads. And during that time, I had the opportunity from the Australian Sports Commission, the AOS, that had a national talented identification program running at the time, and they saw the potential in me as a world-class triathlete. So they gave me the opportunity to make the transition into triathlon. They sort of fast-tracked my progression by giving me a coach and a bike and all the facilities in order to try and achieve a world-class standard in a short amount of time. And I jumped at the opportunity. I trained with Jamie Turner, who was the NSWIS and an Australian triathlon coach, who gave me the knowledge and expertise in order to further my potential as coming closer to being a world-class triathlete. And I really enjoyed that period. I raced on the ITU World Cup circuit, traveled all around Europe and America. And although I love the intense pressure, fast-paced racing, I still had the outdoor spirit within me. And, I sort of missed, I did a little bit of mountain biking as cross-training, and I really enjoyed that. And I wanted to stay in the sport of triathlon. And I did an XTERRA race in Switzerland when I was over in Europe, racing on the European World Cup circuit for triathlon. And I absolutely fell in love with the sport. It was everything that I looked for, adventure, being out there in the elements against Mother Nature. And I wanted to pursue it further. Everyone that I spoke to was very friendly and sort of had the same sort of passion that I was looking for in the sport. And I sort of took a step back away from ITU racing and concentrated more on XTERRA. And I think from the expertise when I was young from open water swimming and having the guidance through Australian triathlon, it's enabled me to sort of increase my performance on the XTERRA stage. And now this very date, I travel around the world racing the XTERRA World Tour circuit, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's a quick overview of your career so far, I guess. Taking you back to surf lifesaving, because I think it's pretty big in Australia, but outside it's relatively unknown. Can you tell us a bit about that, what the different events that are involved in that sport?
Yeah, definitely. Surf lifesaving involves multiple events. You've got individual events, but then you've also got team events within that, so relays as well. You've got open water swim, which is probably about 1.5K, and then you've got surf ski, board paddle. You've got board relays, taplins, which involve other team members in your club doing a relay style format in order to compete against other clubs and other competitors. And it's a very fierce competition in Australia, and we have a professional circuit, the Kellogg's Nutrigrain, and it's very popular within Australia. Obviously, a lot of Australians, we grew up surrounding the east and west coast of Australia, where the weather is a bit more cooler compared to the centre of Australia. And it's a fun sport that involves a lot of people. It's a very big atmosphere. The Surf Lifesaving Australian Championships is is the third biggest sporting event, other than the Commonwealth Games and the Olympics, that we've had in Australia. So it's a very popular sport, and it's a great way to maintain a healthy lifestyle and enjoy the Aussie beaches.
Yeah, I guess I spent a year in Australia as a student, and I saw a lot of people participating in that, especially a lot of youngsters. And I think it's an ideal way to first of all to enjoy the beach, but then actually be active as well.
Oh, definitely, yeah, and it's a great way to be social and learn about the surf and safety conditions, because you can people always come up against Mother Nature. And I've always, when I was younger, I thought I was stronger and fitter than Mother Nature, but I've had a couple of close calls where I've gone out in really big surf and come back in tears because I've almost drowned under 10, 12-foot waves sort of thing. So it teaches you a good life lesson, and most importantly to be beach safety awareness and always looking out for one another. I grew up also, when I was at school on the weekends, I worked as a lifeguard on the beaches, so that's enabled me to gain really good knowledge about surf skills and just reading the water conditions, and for me it's a great experience to have, because I use that in my races to enable myself to achieve a good swim and a good performance in the water.
Yeah, cool. So how long have you been doing this surf lifesaving?
Well, I first started when I was about 10 years old, and I sort of got the opportunity from triathlon when I was about 22. So I've competed for about 12 years as a surf lifesaver, and it was a fantastic time of my life, and I really owe my parents a lot, because it was a fantastic sport. I have a lot of friends. I've met a lot of people and got to travel, up and down the Aussie coastline, competing in a sport that I found to love. What better of a way every Saturday or Sunday you get to wake up, and then you head off on an adventure and go and chase some waves down the east or the south coast. And it's a fantastic opportunity, and you get to race and push yourself beyond your limitations, whether you're up against Mother Nature or your competitors. So it's a very fantastic sport to be involved in.
Yeah, cool. So then you got noticed by Triathlon Australia at 22. Must have been a bit of a different style of training. I mean, had you done some cycling and running before?
It was a bit of a shock to the system. I hadn't done much cycling. As I said before, I did a bit of cross training on the mountain bike, just with friends and just for a bit of fun. But my problem was I'd never done any running. Obviously, triathlon is very run focused, and especially for the ITU racing style, it's very orientated towards that, because you can't win the race from the swim, but you can definitely lose it, and then you have to be in the front group on the bike in order yourself to be able to get off and run as fast as you can. And it was just just one of those things where I just had to really work hard and knuckle down, and that was my main focus, I suppose, when I came across to triathlon. Obviously, I had the swim expertise and knowledge, and I sort of let that slide in order to work on my running and then develop my strength on the bike. And I suppose up until today, I've sort of like to pride myself on having all three disciplines very balanced. And I still have to work extremely hard on my run and my bike, but it's turned the tables. I really enjoy mountain biking now, and it's just a fantastic way to keep fit and healthy and do all three sports.
Cool. So how much time did you get then from Triathlon Australia before you started racing ITU?
They gave me a 2 to 3 year window of opportunity in order to develop. I sort of was on par. I was on par on the swim and the bike, but my run, obviously, without having a decent running base or running background, coming from a swimming background, I wasn't able to achieve the outcomes as quickly as they would have liked me to. So, if I was to push it, I was finding I was getting niggling little injuries, and I didn't really enjoy the sport because the sport was the people. Like the federation in Australia was pressuring me in order to try and achieve these results when I was physically doing everything possible and training as hard as I could, but just my body wasn't developing quick enough in order to sustain that elite level that they were looking for. So I could have continued down that path and they would have still supported me and helped me along that way, but for me, I didn't really have the passion there and the enjoyment to continue down that path. I wanted to, we're only on the planet for a short amount of time, and I really wanted to enjoy, those prime years that I have and focus on something that I loved, and that's where I decided to sort of venture out, and I tried XTERRA, and like I said, I just fell in love from there.
Yeah, cool. Because you did some adventure racing in between, didn't you?
Yeah, I did some adventure racing whilst there's a big race a big surf Lifesaving race in Australia called the Coolangatta Gold, which is an extended version of a surf Ironman. So you've got a longer ski paddle, a longer swim, a longer board paddle, and obviously a longer run on the soft sand, and it's about 4 hours. And I did that 3 times, and I finished within the top 10 each time. And as a bit of cross training, I did some adventure racing, which I really enjoyed too. And that sort of led me into sort of taking on the sport of triathlon also. And when I get back to Australia after Maui, I've actually been selected to represent the Australian adventure racing team at a couple of races coming up. So back in Australia in our summer, so in October and December this year. So I'm really looking forward to that opportunity, plus doing more cross triathlon races and XTERRA races in the Asian Pacific area.
Yeah, cool. Now, what makes XTERRA so special for you, and why should people give it a try?
I just think it's the people that are involved in XTERRA. They're very, they're open-armed, they're kind-hearted, they're fantastic. Everyone is always smiling. I think it just brings the best out of people. It's and not only that, it's the places that you get to go to. I've been to 26 different countries in the space of 6 months just through XTERRA, and just through the people that put on the events and races are fantastic. And what better way to challenge yourself both physically and mentally through what we've been given on this earth, on this planet, by being out in the mountains and swimming in beautiful rivers and lakes. And it's just a fantastic way to meet new people and enjoy and challenge yourself like no other. So it's definitely and it's one of the toughest races you can ever go through. As soon as you do an XTERRA race, you're definitely hooked and you've fallen in love. So you want to do more, that's for sure.
Yeah, cool. So it's definitely just a very much more relaxed atmosphere compared to your usual triathlons.
Yeah, definitely. Like when you're on the start line, don't get me wrong, everyone's very serious and there's no friends out on the race course. But after the race, you can walk away and you can sit down and have a beer with your competitors and talk about what's happened out on the race course. And there's always a gathering after a party, and everyone likes to celebrate and enjoy what we've all endured. And it's just a fantastic event and an environment, and there's something there for everyone. Not only do we have the elites race, you've got age groupers, you've got the kids XTERRA races, you've got university clinics. So the experience that people gain from coming and being involved in the race is huge, because there's so much to do, there's so much going on. There's trail races, mountain bike races, and it's just one big festival of events.
What's been your most memorable race so far?
I think my most memorable race would have to be in the Philippines. The Philippines is just an amazing place. Like, the people there are fantastic. They're always smiling. Despite any sort of bad situation, they make the best out of it. The races that they put on are fantastic. They really, really look after the athlete, and they look after every need of the athlete. If you've got anything, any problem, big or small, they'll take care of it. And some of the locations that the races are on at are fantastic, in beautiful beaches, crystal clear water, and obviously the weather is nice. If you like hot, humid conditions, the Philippines is definitely a place to be. And it's just some of my favorite races are being run in the Philippines, and I thoroughly enjoy going back there year after year and racing there. I've made some really good friends in the Philippines, and we always meet up and come around for dinner and have a family dinner, and it just feels like home for myself and also my partner Jackie. We both love going there.
Yeah, cool. And do you have a coach now? And do you train differently for XTERRA than when you did for ITU?
I do a little bit different. My coach, Guy Hamillion at endurancetrainingconcept.com.
He's French, right?
Yes, yeah. He has a bit of a mountain biking background, as well as training triathletes. He's an advisor for Chris McCormack, and he gives me some really tough sessions, but also incorporates some mountain bike skill sessions, and we focus a lot on the XTERRA courses and what's required in order to put together a good performance. He and I have been working for a couple of years now, and it's a really good relationship. I trust his knowledge, and he has the experience from working with some of the best triathletes in order to get me up into best tip-top shape. And we always have a bit of a laugh with one another. We don't take things too seriously, which is great. He's although he's French, I reckon he's got a bit of an Aussie laid-back lifestyle about him. So it's pretty cool. And it also helps with me, because he always speaks to me in French and sends my training programs in French. So luckily I can speak French. So he I have to sort of siphon some of the things that he says, and it's pretty good. We have a good relationship, and we've worked well over the last couple of years and had some fantastic results.
Yeah, cool. I'm guessing you're heading off to Maui pretty soon for the XTERRA Worlds. Can you tell us a bit about how your season has been so far, and what your expectations are going into the World Championships?
Yeah, definitely. My season so far has been sort of a bit up and down. I suppose I've had a lot of off race course issues that I've had to deal with. I started the European tour with a bit of an injury, and I've had to I missed a couple of races due to the healing of that. And I've it's been quite hard because both Jackie and I, we've travelled to and from races. We haven't really had a base in order to go back to. We've gone from race to race to race, and we've been doing that just to try and financially stay alive. We don't have the funds in order to have a stable base in Europe to go back and forth from the races, so we can knuckle back into our training. We've sort of had to go from race to race, and I think that's affected our performance a little bit throughout the European summer. But for now, we've come away from Europe, and we're currently in America, and we've had a base for about 8 weeks. So we've had a really, really good block of training, and the lead up into Maui has been very, very good. I must say it's probably been the best that myself and Jackie have had since I've been doing the sport of XTERRA, and I'm really looking forward to heading back there and racing again, and putting on a good performance all around. I've been working extremely hard on all 3 disciplines, and I think that's what it takes. I don't think you can have a weakness in Maui, and especially the swim in Maui is the most important. A lot of the European races, the swim normally gains you a little bit of an advantage, but not enough to make a difference. In Maui, I believe that the swim in Maui is huge, and if you're able to exit the water in the first few guys, then you're definitely going to be up in medal contention straight away, because that allows you onto the single track sections and the climbs straight away, and you don't have to try to pass the slow bikers or the fast swimmers if you're a fast biker, and vice versa. So that gives you more of an opportunity to get into your rhythm, to focus, and really I suppose have a good run coming off that too. So you don't really have to worry about other competitors. You race from the front, and the other competitors get to worry about you. In my preparation, like I said, it's been phenomenal, and I'm really excited to get over there. My mum and dad are coming over to watch. So it'll be the first time I've seen them in about 6 or 7 months. So that's another positive step for me, and I'm really excited about that, and looking for another big result to back up my 3rd place from last year.
Cool. So who are your contenders going to be then?
I think there's a couple of guys. You can never discount Conrad. He's got the experience, and he knows what it takes to win in
He's won
Hawaii.
It like 7 times or something.
Yes, yeah, he has. So he's definitely one of the contenders. Obviously, you've got Ruben Rusafa from Spain. He's undefeated this year. And he's a really strong mountain biker. So I think all of us have got to try and really watch him on the bike and ensure that we can limit our loss as best as possible. You got Josiah Middow, who's a phenomenal athlete all round, although he lacks a little bit on the swim, but he makes up for it on the bike and the run. Dan Hugo, another guy from South Africa. They're probably my top 3 or 4 guys that I'll be watching out for come race day. But although I'll be watching out for them, but sticking to my race plan, because I know that ultimately if I can do that, it's going to enable me to have a great race. Yeah.
I guess none of the Kona contenders will be a threat there in Maui.
No, I wouldn't think so. I think after it's going to be a phenomenal race. I'm looking forward to even watching the Kona race, and I think those boys are going to and women are going to battle it out all the way to the very end. And although it's 2 weeks' time after, they could still back up and race, but I think they'll be pretty tired and fatigued after that one in order to sort of challenge for the title in Maui. And the course this year, the mountain bike course in Maui is and last year was a bit more technical, so it's going to definitely sort the boys out from the men and the girls out from the women. So you've got to be on your game and really focus on every aspect of the race, and if you can do that, you'll come away with a great performance.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of former ITU athletes make the switch to Ironman recently. I'm thinking like Bevan Dougherty and Frodeno, Tim Don, and we're recording this just a couple of days before Ironman Hawaii, and I'm definitely curious to see what these guys are going to do in Kona. Is Ironman something that's on the horizon for you?
Yeah, definitely. I've spoken with my coach, and I actually wanted to do one this year, and he sort of held me back, and he reckons I still, whilst I'm still young and still focusing on, the shorter distance races, whilst I've still got that speed and that sort of intense drive to want to go hard and fast. He wants me to try and hold back maybe a couple of years until I make the jump up to Ironman, because I think once you go long, it's extremely difficult to go back to the sprint and Olympic distance races. And at the current moment in my career, I'm really happy with where I'm at, focusing on XTERRA and Olympic distance races. And I want to try and I still have goals and ambitions to try and achieve the World Championships, and I'll keep focusing on that until I get there. So, but yeah, definitely Ironman is on the horizon, and I really am looking forward to heading down that path and one day getting to Kona and challenging for the title, I like to think.
Yeah, cool. Well, we're looking forward to that. All right. Well, thanks a lot for your time, Ben. Just to finish things off, can you maybe tell us quickly how people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, definitely. You can find all my info at benallentriathlete.com, and or on Twitter, Benny_Allen. Majority of the time I'm pretty active on those two social media sites, and hopefully have loads of updates in the lead up to the Maui XTERRA World Champs.
All right, cool. Well, I'll definitely make sure to put those links in the show notes. Feel free to give some love to your sponsors.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough. I've got some amazing people that help and support me. On running, Giant, XTERRA Wetsuits Australia, Flight Centre Active Travel, Ride at Eyewear, Champion Systems, Lurbel Precision Garments, Ikoi, Alaska Milk, and Schnell Carbon Wheels and Grieper Laces.
All right, that's a bunch of them. Cool. All right, anything else you want to plug?
No, that's about it. I just wanted to say, thanks very much, and I hope everyone enjoys the show, and good luck to all the Kona athletes, and best of luck, and I'll see you guys all in Maui.
All right, well, thank you very much, Ben.
Thanks,
have a good last couple of training weeks, and have a good one in Maui.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.